wow, I was about to say today is Friday. Definitely not Friday. Today is Monday, January the 25th. I am your host, KC Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. Okay, I decided to do something not so serious today because, as I said before, I want to switch things up a little bit and not always be on the, positive thinking, bettering life, all that stuff, self-help things. So I know one thing that I've mentioned several times on my show is Mercury Retrograde. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to talk about today because that's what we're in the process of entering. And before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform, KIRWKC on Twitter, on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, facebook.com/KIRWKC, swing by the page, give a like. If you're watching this on YouTube or Daily Motion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, follow button, notification bell on YouTube. That will let you know when I upload new videos. And yeah. And then, of course, the podcast is on Spotify, Apple, Google Play, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, as well as several other podcasting platforms. Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde, for people who are into astrology, which Mercury isn't going backwards. Planets don't go backwards. What it is it's an optical illusion, and it looks like it's retrograding. But Mercury is the planet, as you know, the god Mercury, the messenger of communication. That is what it deals with, communication. And usually anything involving communication with Mercury retrograde, you have to be very, very clear in what you're saying. That way it's not misunderstood. And also with receiving communication, it's a possibility that there may be delays when it comes to receiving communication. And all of this is based off of astrology. And it's almost like with tarot card readings. You can take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Because some people are just not into astrology. Me personally, I believe there's something there when it comes to astrology, especially with astrological signs. I believe that astrology is more like statistics, is what it is. Where it's not saying that, okay, if you're born at the end of June to the close to the end of July, which is the Cancerian sign, Cancer, my sign, that it's not saying that, okay, you'll be a homebody, more than likely you'll be able to cook, more than likely you'll be kind of guarded, but also have a big heart, or what's some other Cancer, that you'll be loyal, that you'll be moody as hell, trying to think of some other Cancer traits, that you can be animated, and that you'll be shy until you get to know someone first, and then you'll show more of yourself, things like that. It's not saying that these things are a definite if you're born under a certain sign. It's saying that if you are born under this sign, it is a possibility, more than likely, you will have some of these characteristics. And it always seems to be the case with people that I've run into. Now, obviously, your rising sign can play a role in other things when they get into the weeds of, oh, well, this is in the 8th house, the 4th house, the 5th house when you were born, and what part of the planet were you on at the time you were born. I don't get into all of that stuff. However, I do believe there's something there. Just like with tarot card readings, I believe there's something there. And because it is all related to energy. When it's all said and done, it's all related to energy. When during a certain time of year, that's a certain time of energy, is what it is. And so on and so forth for each sign. So that's what I believe it's all related to. And if you have people throughout time who have made it their business to research and catalog and do certain things as related to astrology, with astrological signs, with the planets, saying, hey, well, when this planet is here, these things are more than likely to happen on planet Earth. This is how the energy of that planet will affect the energy of those on Earth. Just like they say, the moon, which is what rules Cancer, the moon is what affects the ocean tides when it comes to emotions and things like that. So I believe there's something there. Is it right for every single thing? No, it isn't. There are situations where there's always the exception. I'll give you an example. My mother is a Scorpio. My father is a Sagittarius. And usually astrologically, Scorpio and Sagittarius, that's, if I had to place a bet, I wouldn't bet on that relationship. However, my parents have been together for almost, 50 years now, I think, something like that. How old am I? Yeah, almost 50 years now. Because I have to think, because my brother is 6 or 7 years older than me, and I'll be 42 in June, so he'll be the 48 or 49. I think he'll be 48. So they've been together almost 50 years. If someone brought their relationship to me beforehand and said, hey, do you think they're going to last? I'd be like, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I'm not betting on it. So everything is on a case-by-case basis. Also, it could be things with their rising signs or whatever. There's so many things. But with Mercury in retrograde, one thing that comes up is usually nostalgia, because it forces people, the goal of Mercury being in retrograde is to force people to slow down and think and review. And some of the things that they weren't taking a look at before, Mercury is saying, okay, we're going to slow things down. Now you have the time to look at this. You've been putting this off. Now would be a good time to just go ahead and see what's what, which is what it's really good for, to just review. It's for self-reflection is what it is. It's to check what's going on internally. Now, because Mercury is related to communication, it's also related to transportation. They say, be more careful when driving while Mercury is in retrograde, because it raises the chances of an accident happening. Another thing that they mention, saying when Mercury is in retrograde, don't purchase any new technology. A lot of people who are into astrology, like heavy into astrology, when Mercury goes into retrograde, they'll say if you can avoid it, don't buy anything, like don't buy a new laptop, don't buy a new TV, don't buy this, don't buy that, because more than likely something will go wrong with it later, very soon, because you bought it while Mercury was in retrograde. And I don't want to say bad juju, but it's just, you're taking, whatever you bought is taking on that energy of, instead of being progressive, it's being regressive, is what it is, because you bought it during a regressive period, during a retrograde period. Instead of going forward, it's going backwards. And obviously, if you want something to work, you want it to do what it needs to do, not stop working. So yeah, those are just little things they talk about. I brought up some do's and don'ts on a website. If you want to go to the website is horoscope.com and /Mercury-retrograde is what it is. And you can read there. But for the do's and don'ts, it says Mercury retrograde do's and don'ts. The do: 1, brainstorm. Think of every available solution to the problems you're facing. One of them has to work eventually. 2, Be flexible, adaptable, and patient. You may have to step outside of your comfort zone to come up with the right fix. And this just now hit me. Side thing, for those who listened to my episode this weekend with the Keeping It Real with KC, Conor McGregor lost. That just now hit me. So, yeah, I don't know why stepping outside the comfort zone brought that up. But Conor McGregor lost. So he's going to have to fight Dustin Poirier again. Random, I know, but what? See, communication. I'm just all over the place. Anyways, let me get back to this. So, number 3, think in broad terms. The bigger and farther reaching the solution is, the more likely it is to work. 4, stay updated on delays and cancellations while traveling. Again, that's what it's not just as in accidents might be more prone while traveling, it's also having issues while traveling, meaning delays and cancellations. So if you're traveling during while Mercury is in retrograde, be sure to constantly have updates on those delays and cancellations, because it's more than likely to happen, according to astrologers, during this period. So you want to keep an eye on that. Also, number 5, keep an eye on your car. Check warning lights, schedule maintenance appointments, and monitor the gas tank as well. Number 6, back up your computer and phone so you don't lose important data if they shut down without warning. Number 7, revisit persistent issues from the past. You know, that one thing that's really been on your mind lately. This is the perfect time to address it and try to resolve it once and for all. And then here are 8 don'ts during Mercury retrograde. 1, don't get into a negative thinking cycle. Things may be falling apart around you, but stay positive and remember, this is just a speed bump. You've got this. Number 2, don't be a lone wolf. When things break, make an appointment with a professional to get them fixed and sit tight rather than trying to do it yourself. Number 3, don't exaggerate. Things are bad enough without stretching the truth. Number 4, don't plan a big presentation or draft up important papers, especially legal documents. Because again, we're dealing with communication. If you can't avoid tasks like this, pay close attention to the details. Again, communication. So if you're signing documents during Mercury retrograde, or you're drafting documents during Mercury retrograde, because you have no choice, it's like this has to be done during this period, make sure you go through the documents with a fine-tooth comb, is what you do. Like, read them very, very closely. So yeah. Number 5, don't rely on technology. If you have an important meeting coming up, write down and print out the info you'll need. Number 6, don't rush. Slowing down the pace can help you eliminate costly mistakes. Number 7, don't have unrealistic expectations. Because of misunderstandings and mix-ups, things may not turn out as you'd planned. Avoid disappointment by keeping expectations relatively low. Number 8, don't set unrealistic timelines. Red tape can keep documents in a holding pattern for a long, long time. So that's what they have on that with the do's and the don'ts. And I just wanted to cover that Mercury in retrograde. So when does it start too? I forgot. I have to put that up too. Mercury retrograde is from, hold on, I have to type it. 2021. Okay. Had to pull it up. All right. Mercury retrograde starts the 30th. Officially, it starts on January 30th. It officially ends on February the 19th. We're already in pre-retrograde. Pre-retrograde had started on the 14th of January. So we're already in pre-retrograde, but the official retrograde starts on the 30th and ends on February 19th. The post-retrograde doesn't end until March 12th is what happens. And then retrograde happens again starting on May 31st, and it ends on June 21st. And it happens again on September the 28th and ends on October the 16th. And please keep in mind pre-retrograde and post-retrograde, which is just you're feeling the after effects. The before effects and the after effects is what you're feeling. So yeah. Like I said, I just wanted to switch it up, take a break. Anyways, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform, KIRWKC on Twitter, on Instagram. Also, I upload these episodes to IGTV as well, facebook.com/KIRWKC. If you are watching this on YouTube or Daily Motion, don't forget to hit the subscribe button followed by the notification bell. That will let you know when I upload new videos. And this weekend so far, I'm still on schedule to do the tarot card readings this weekend. I'm still on schedule. My sleep, even though I was constantly waking up, it was still a better sleep than the previous 2 nights. So keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to get better and better, even though we're going into retrograde, but whatever. I'm doing the positive thinking thing is what I'm doing, and keeping my fingers crossed on that. So I hope to have the energy to do all the tarot card readings this coming weekend, and we will be good to go for that part as well. Anyways, thank you again to everyone who's been supporting the show, who's been listening to the show. I will always appreciate it more than you will ever know. Until next time, be blessed.